So I like Jeopardy. I've seen, I think, every episode in my lifetime, and I nonetheless didn't think I would be good enough to be on the show. My dad said, take the anytime test. Nothing worse can happen than you won't get on, so just give it a try. I said, fine, I'll do it for you. And I got a call, and then I got another call, and now I'm here, and I just can't believe it. Read. That's the best advice I can give anybody. Read. If you find it mildly interesting, read more about it. If you don't find it mildly interesting, read more about it. You just need to know more, and then you'll find that interesting too. It may sound boring, but plain cheese. Ooh, I do not collect anything. I collect open space as an act of rebellion against my hoarder of a father. I would travel to earlier in the 1900s and no earlier because of hygiene and technology that I could not live without. I famously did not enjoy Halloween at all, and the only time I dressed up was when I was 9 and I put on my baseball uniform for Little League, and that was my compromise with my parents. Yes, I think that people out there have a ton of knowledge, but probably a lot of self-doubt too, and they're holding themselves back. And I just have to encourage them, go for it, bet on yourself, give it a try. I can't believe it. It still doesn't make sense. I expect to look at the record book and still see everybody else's name but mine. It will never fit in for me. It's been a bit much, both playing and seeing reactions to the games that are airing, and I've just been trying to compartmentalize all of that. People have been very nice. I didn't know the internet could also be nice. People have been very nice, and so I've appreciated that. I got a tweet, which I will count, from Ken Jennings. I have not heard from him personally, but he acknowledged my existence on Twitter, and I melted to the ground as soon as I saw that. There's nobody I respect in the Jeopardy community, but probably the world, as Ken Jennings, and so that was just a treat. I get a lot of what's Matt, and I think they're trying to be mean, but I've just kind of taken it on my own, so it feeds me. I like it. Some decompression. I had so much energy coiled up, I wanted to kind of relax a little bit. But, I read more because you never know when the next thing you find online is going to be asked, and so I just tried to absorb every bit of information I can. No, I'm a little bit superstitious about that, and I'm worried about acquiring a new wardrobe, and then boom, it all ends just like that, and I'm never going to be able to wear those clothes again. It would absolutely be Crazy Train, because I think the contrast between one of my favorite songs and my personality would just be too much to resist. All of them, beginning to end. No, I think that the Final Jeopardies, where I bet a lot of money because I know the odds are in favor, but sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. They're always stressful. I love answering all of the obscure questions. The more obscure it is, the better feeling I get when I get it right. And I just try to imagine all the people at home who are saying, how did you know that? Trust me, I'm also saying, how did I know that? I was hoping for one win, but I've never been on a stage under pressure like that. So I was pretty much expecting to go in and forget everything I know, including my name, how much money I have at the moment, to say what is, certainly. And so just to win the one game and to be able to call myself a Jeopardy champion was always my goal. More has come, and I'm happy for it, but that moment when I won the first one is still always dear to my heart. So I know the rules of Jeopardy. I've watched a lot of Jeopardy and I've seen rulings on individual questions here and there. So I have known from experience what is acceptable and what is not. I went about the approach of saying the fewer things to think about, the better. If you have a moving part, that moving part can go wrong. And so I found the simplest, most repeatable approach I could and went with it.